time. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a brand new poll out. As I said, this one from Inside Advantage is taking a look at the all-important swing state of Michigan. And I want you to see this because it is not what you would necessarily, if you're one of the sort of status quo establishment types, have expected coming out of that debate. 49% to Trump. Now, granted, this is still extremely close. I want to caution that it's still within the margin of error, but this is according to Insider Advantage, which has a good reputation. This is coming out of Michigan, and they are in a point spread difference. So just neck and neck here. Again, Donald Trump at 49, Harris at 48, 2% voting otherwise. I mean, this is really something to see. Again, because she should theoretically, I mean, we understand why she's not, but theoretically, right? If you go out and you win the debate and the press is saying you're so fantastic, and Taylor Swift, for goodness sakes, is endorsing you too, you should have more momentum, girl, all right? You ought to have more momentum. She doesn't have it. So then you start to say, well, why? And I think we perhaps if you're watching this show, by the way, subscribe, share, like, make a comment. We are live right now, so I see everything in real time. I would just say that maybe you get it, I get it, but the mainstream media certainly does not get it. I'm going to play some clips for you later on where you're just going to say, wow, like, are these people that stupid? And I guess they are that stupid, if you would, because they cannot seem to fathom why it is that Donald Trump is still here ahead in the poll. I mean, if you look at Nate Silver's prediction model, this is after the debate. Trump is still looking at a 61.6% chance of winning the whole thing. Kamala Harris, 38.1%. I mean, this is as of the 12th of September. And so what you're seeing, again, is that though he may have been a point or two higher going into the debate, he has not collapsed. This did not do much for her at all. And I think that you have to think through this because and we've talked about this, he does not poll well. If you compare and contrast, for example, his polling to the likes of what we've seen from any other candidate, I mean, you cannot look at his polls and just assume that he's actually, neck and neck. I think you have to assume that he's actually faring far better. This is something that my former colleague over at Fox, Jesse Waters, pointed.
Every single battleground is either tied or he's up 0.5 or she's up 0.5. But if you go in tied with Donald Trump, he's going to win.
I mean, in other words, because he tends to perform quite poorly in the polls, and we understand why, right? In other words, you're not allowed to like Donald Trump. You're not allowed to be voting for him. You are one of the persona non grata if you are. And so consequently, people are not entirely truthful in polls. And as a result, he'll do better on the day of the actual election. So it's really kind of important to consider all of those things right about now. But the reality is this, as we unpack these numbers, as we unpack the aftermath of the debate, and we can complain, and I have complained, and I'll continue to complain about those ABC moderators, as we look at the bias within the media itself, you still have to remember Americans see through so much of this. This is why when you looked at some of the exit polling, or not exit polling, I should say, the just the what do you call this? The little groups, the focus groups. There we go. I'm having a Biden moment. The focus groups where CNN was talking with voters right after, and they were all saying, no, we're not convinced that she can do the job. But it's because it comes down to one thing, and it is the economy. They trust him more than her on the economy.
The economy here. Who would better handle the economy is what we ask. Going into the debate, before the debate, 37% said Harris, 53% Trump. After the debate, again, margin of error stuff here, but numerically she lost a little ground. 35% said so after the debate, that she would better handle the economy. 55% said Trump, and we know that is one of his strongest suits across the polling in this election, and he seemed to hang on to that piece in this debate tonight, according to our poll of Debate Watch.
Indeed, he did. We got a lot to get to. I want to just give a quick shout out for our friends over at American Heart for Gold. If you're somebody who believes in keeping your money safe, you need to diversify, okay? That's my pledge to you. You must diversify. And when you diversify, you might want to look at something like precious metals. You should call my friends over at American Hartford Gold. They have a special deal for fans of the Trish Regan Show right now. You get up to $15,000 for qualified orders there when you purchase gold with them. $15,000 in free silver, I should point out. 1-844-495-1115, that's their number. Or all you have to do, if you got your cell phone handy, is text my name, Trish, to 65532. You can text it to 65532. This is American Hartford Gold. Again, $15,000 for qualified orders, up to $15,000 in free silver. So kind of a nice thing, especially when you consider how chaotic things are, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh. I mean, I've been saying, gold is one of those ways to diversify, one of those ways to kind of even out the effects of inflation. You need to be in the market, of course, to even that out. But gold is another tool. And that's why I personally do invest in it. And, you can go all the way. I've been talking about this since the year 2000. So anyway, it's up around $2,500 right now. So it was back around 400 back then. So some people did well. Anyway, American Hartford Gold. TrishLovesGold.com. How can you forget that URL? TrishLovesGold.com.